Hey, how's it going? For all you wondering how Shawnee Mission Triathlon bike course is going to treat you, come to the right place. Brian, triathlon.com, and in this video we're going to talk about Shawnee Mission Triathlon and Duathlon course. Specifically, we're going to talk about the bike course. So as you can see in the background, I've got the website pulled up. All you got to do is Google Shawnee Mission Triathlon and Duathlon, pop up, click the link, and it'll take you to the sign up page. And we're going to just jump right into it and go to the course maps. I went out and rode the course, I believe a day ago, recording this video. Took the GoPro with me so you can see live actual footage looking at my handlebars, my bike, as I'm going through the course. So I'm going to go through and talk a little bit about the highlights of the bike course specifically, just to help get you guys ready for the course out there. It is a little bit challenging, but I do love this course. I've done this for, gosh, I can't even count. I should have looked before I made this video of how many times I've done the bike, the race in general. I've done it in a corporate challenge. It's been a triathlon regard as well, but I've done the race several times. I've been there when it's rained out or stormed out, but I've also been there when it's hot. I've also been there when it's wetsuit legal in July. So anything can happen out there in Shawnee Mission Triathlon. So just be ready for it. I want to talk about the bike course. As you see here in the little window here, how many laps you have for each course you're going to do. Duathlon is 3, Olympic is 6. I signed up for an Olympic this year. Usually I do long courses, just 4. So we're going to see how 6 laps treat me. I did 5 when I went through the course, survived, lived the tail to tail. So hopefully everyone out there else doing the Olympic try, don't fear, it is possible. Short try is 2 laps and super sprint is 1 lap. I have a few athletes out there myself that I coach that are doing the super sprint. All I gotta do is survive 1 lap of the course and you're good to go. So if you look, you're actually starting off in the marina parking lot. This is going to be the transition area. And when you jump on your bike, you're going to be going counterclockwise around the park. So if you go out there, and I'll say this real quick, it's great to go out there and ride and get on the course. I highly recommend going out there and getting familiar with the course, because last thing you want to do is show up on race day and wonder how it's going to go. If you're watching this video, at least you're a step ahead of that. But just be aware that normally during the week, on the weekends, whatever, it's open to traffic. You need a little bit less traffic during the week. I was actually able to get over there on a Thursday morning. Very little traffic to deal with, wasn't really a problem. It's great, there are park rangers there, and they pulled somebody over for speeding while I was in the park. So they are watching people, they're watching your speeds to make sure that you're safe out there if you're riding your bike around the course. So make sure, if possible, you get out there. It is open to traffic when you're training, but on race day, it is closed to traffic. You will not be dealing with traffic whatsoever. You just got to be careful on some of the steep descents that you're not veering into oncoming traffic lanes, because there's cars going back and forth. There are some turns you won't be able to see a car coming. So definitely heed the rules of the road and make sure that you're staying on the right side, right lane, and keep it under control. As you can see, while I'm doing this ride, I rarely get in the aero position because I don't want to block the camera, but there's some places you can get in the aero position. But definitely while you're out there training and it's open to traffic, be as safe as possible out there. Your helmet, all that kind of good stuff too. So we're going to jump into it. I'm going to jump into my Garmin Connect information. So as you can see here, and I will edit the video here a little bit really quick so you guys can see the course a little bit better here in the video that I'm doing. So on the screen, I've got just my Garmin recorded stuff, and I was not out there by any means stretch of imagination killing myself. So if you're looking at my speed, my data, and all this good stuff, and you want to pick them apart, don't worry about that. But anyway, we're going to focus on the first lap, which is about the 19-minute mark back to the start. So I went ahead and I did a lap, and I'm just going to show you kind of a little bit of where you are going to be facing some challenges on the bike course. And I also will point out, got a nice video, there's my handlebars. While riding the course, pretty much 100% of the course has been repaved in the last 2 to 3 years. So some sections are a little bit older, but they're much better than they have been in the past. It's kind of a chip seal, kind of hodgepodge of potholes and cracks, all kinds of other stuff. It is smooth out there. There are a few little sections got some cracks and stuff, and you kind of watch out for it. But other than that, it's smooth, not a problem. You should not have really a problem with the surface as you're riding along. You will see my camera kind of vibrate and stuff, but that's just kind of vibration of the road. It's not a super technical setup for my GoPro on my bike, and it's going to show every bump and jump and stuff. So just take it with a grain of salt that it's just mounted straight to my handlebars, and it's just going to bounce around. And I had my tires aired up pretty 100 psi, so that's pretty rigid for the tires, just because it is super flat. So better rolling resistance, the higher pressure you have, so you can go a lot quicker. There's less resistance to overcome if your wheels aren't inflated as much. So I definitely would recommend 100 psi or 110. This course should be nice and super fast. You shouldn't really have any issues with chip seal or any kind of vibrations or anything like that. So definitely you want as much advantage as possible. And if you have your tires geared up on the higher side of the pressure, then you can get less friction and less rolling resistance as you're going around the park. So definitely keep that in mind when you're doing your roll bike setup, whatever you're doing. And again, in this video, put it on YouTube, put it on Facebook, wherever you see this. If you have questions, put them in the comments. I'd gladly get back to you. I've ridden this course more times than I can count. Done the race several times, maybe 10 times plus in one form or another, either sprint, long course, doing the Olympic this year. I've done it corporate challenges, duathlon. I've done it 1 loop, 2 loops, whatever. So I've done this course several times. Been there back over this course so many times. So if you got any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. So we're just going to jump right through here. So as I mentioned, Marina parking lot is a transition area. So this is where I kind of start out. So when I start the ride, as you see, there's traffic coming in and out of the park. So definitely be aware of that and be as safe as possible. So basically when you're coming out, notice there's going to be just a little bit of a climb. So as you're coming out of transition, this would be about where you mount. There's going to be cones that are going to keep you going to the left. So when you're going up the road, they're going to keep you on the left side because you're merging with bikers on the right side. So if you're later in the day, you want to be on the left side where bikes start on the right side because you're saving traffic. But you're going to come in on the left and you want to get to the right. Once you pass cones and merge, watch out for bikers on the right because of coming through. And it's also a good view because you'll be able to see when I'm shifting and stuff. So as you get over that little hump from transition, then you get to a nice steep downhill. And this little section you'll see highlighted here on my Garmin Connect. It's a nice little section where you got a nice little downhill, a nice little straightaway. You get in aero position and really kind of go through it pretty quick. Okay, I don't want to fast forward for you guys. So it does take a minute to go through the video. It's total more than 15 minutes, but you might kind of jump through little spots. Not to bore you to death. But, so you're riding along. So notice you're in this little flat section to a downhill. It's nice. Definitely a position you can be in the aero and get as much speed as possible. Get comfortable, especially after the swim. Get the legs warmed up. So getting ready to get out there on the bike course. So as you can see, the road, this section's been paved in the last couple of years. So it's kind of gotten lighter over the years. It's definitely in great shape. A little bit of bump here by the bathroom area. But notice they've redone the shelters in the area. They're really, really nice. They've replaced the wooden ones with some metal structures and gave you some little patio areas and stuff. So you can see that on the left right there. It's great areas, especially for spectators. If you want to park, you're going to have to park. Get to the park and walk down. But if you wanted to watch people on the bike course, you can go down and watch. Great area just to spectate. So you'll see on the right that this is the running path when you come out from the run later. So I might get out there with the GoPro and do a little run around the run course for you. But as you can see here, you're crossing the dam road. It's been recently repaved for the last couple of years too. It's kind of like that over time, but as you can see, it is nice. You should chip seal, potholes, cracks, all kinds of good fun stuff to ride through. You just didn't get any momentum going through here, but now, again, I mean, I try to be in the aero position from basically the start of transition when you're on that open road to when you come to the bottom of the hill. So this right here, you're starting to approach the infamous dam hill. So if you notice, it's coming up in the distance there. Once you get past the lake, coming up. So as you can watch, as I'm downshifting, so right here, this is where I'm shifting the easiest gear on the front. And if they've repaved this section, so it's really nice. You have a nice wide shoulder that if you go out there and do a training ride or anything, you could definitely ride on that shoulder, stay out of traffic. It used to be that there's really no shoulder, you're kind of in traffic, so you can help people up. But this one's nice. You go to the side, right up the hill, do speed, pace, whatever you got to do. like I said, I definitely would recommend getting out there and trying it at least once, doing 1 or 2 laps out there just to get used to the feel for that course. So you can see here, once you do that initial climb, it is basically kind of an uphill section for the next maybe mile-ish or something like that. So right as you get to the dog park area is the next downhill section that's right along. As you can see, you can downshift a little bit, you get a little bit more power going, a little bit more speed. But this is where people usually kind of hit the wall because they did that hill and they try to just, that first lap, definitely don't go out and try to crush it. Definitely get a feel for it so you're not in a position where you're going anaerobic going up this hill on the first try, because it's definitely could be a little soul crushing precursor to the rest of the race if you're going up this hill and you're struggling for breath and you realize you have to do it like 3 more times, 4 more times, 5, 6, whatever you're fortunate. So you come up this little section here. It's kind of nice, a little flat, a little time to get a little bit of energy back. And then you will hit another climb with a little bit of the struggle bus. So we'll just kind of watch the video here a little bit less talking because there is about 12 minutes of this loop. Like I said, I went through and I was not trying to crush the loop or anything like that. So just depending on where you're at, your abilities, how fast you can do one of these loops. I think I'm doing about 16 to 17 minutes per loop is kind of mine. So if you're trying to guesstimate some time, it's about 4.5 mile loop. So if you have some time to go out there and ride, about 4.5 miles, if I wasn't like trying to get after it, like 17, 18 minutes per loop or something like that. So notice this section, you're still going uphill, still climbing. I've still got gear and I'm dialed it back a few times to be able to get up over that hill. And this is where I recommend to people, I put in an easier gear, especially towards the end of the race. You want to like kind of get a good pace, a good feel for each loop. I dial it back and I'm spinning up these hills. I'm not really going for power. I'm not trying to master gears. I'm not staying on the pedals. Kind of the easiest gear possible, and I'm spinning my legs at a faster cadence. So let's see if we can pull this down by cadence. So I'm at like 80, 78, 80 RPM. So I've got the gears down pretty low because I don't want to waste my legs on that, especially on the first loop. There's definitely opportunities if you're doing anything past the super sprint to come back and visit that later and get all the things you got. So once you've crested that major hill, you got a nice little downhill by the dog park. And again, you know, I did this on a Thursday morning, so there's some traffic out there, so you got to be careful. There's cars running around. Most of them are obeying the speed limit. It's not a problem, but definitely keep your head on a swivel. Definitely do not go flying down these hills, and definitely do not go in on the traffic lane because it can come around this corner and see, and it might not be a good day if you meet a car head on. So let's not do that. So as you can see here, you pick up a little bit of speed. What I do like to do is catch the momentum to go up this hill because you get nice momentum, especially on race day when you don't have to worry about vehicles. You can swing a little wide if you need to pass people or anything like that. I try to keep the momentum going up this hill because it is steep, but it is not as steep that you scrub off too much speed. So if you kind of keep a good cadence and a good gearing, you can carry that momentum up to at least this little turn area. So that's your next little climb that you're going to have going on when you approach the softball fields on the other side of 87th Street there. Like I said, this open to traffic, this little three-way intersection here, you make sure that you're paying attention to the stop signs, cars coming and stuff like that. And you see the little guy running around the golf cart, he was running around a few times. So there's cars coming and going, there's stop signs, make sure you're obeying traffic laws, or at least looking around to make sure that you're not blowing through an intersection and you do not have the right of way and a car comes over and creams you or gets really mad at you and stuff. You definitely don't want to have to mess with that. So this is kind of what I would call the second major climb. As you get over, see the softball fields over on the right. got the model airplane runway over on the left. That is not a real runway. That is for model airplanes. It is kind of interesting when you look at people flying over there. So, and again, don't get too distracted by what's going on around you. Like I said, cars everywhere, traffic. And this is a nice little downhill as well. This is a section that I'll get in aero position and try to catch as much momentum as possible to get up over the next climb. So you see here, you got a nice wide open road. It's nice. You feel a little bit safer because you can see what's ahead of you. So if you just kind of open the throttle and let it go, feels a little bit more safe, a little bit more comfortable. So you're not just going full speed and you're going around a black corner. And this is where I try to catch up. So you be downshifting a little bit. I'm trying to keep my momentum, trying to keep the power going up the hill without going overboard. I'm not standing on the pedals. I'm just downshifting so I can keep the same cadence. Try to add a little bit more power to help coast up this initial little climb. Because then you get to this little flat, and you can actually pick up a little bit more speed here to go over the next little climb. So as you can see in my elevation profile, this is like the third little climb going on. You can see this open little play area on the left, this little pull-off area to the right. So that is the third climb on the one loop. And this descent is a little, I wouldn't say sketchy, but it's a little bit, you got to watch it because you're coming down and there's a road to a little shelter area, a parking lot, and then a through road to like an access area to some utilities and stuff. There are cars coming and going. So this one, especially when I'm riding during the week or something like that, when I'm out for training, I'm hitting the brakes right here. As you can see, the roads on either side, there's the pedestrian path. You definitely don't want to get caught off guard with a car coming in or out of those because they may not see you and they'll come to you. So this right here is the last little steep climb. Kind of going up the hill. Take that back. That's one more little bitty climb after this. And like I said, I try to keep the momentum, especially on race day when there's no traffic to worry about those little intersections. I always am looking out just in case. This next little hill, like I try to keep that momentum going up the hill. So that's going to be the key to this course. It's keeping the momentum going from the downhill to the uphill, downhill to the uphill. Because they're steep, but they're not long. So if you catch a little bit of momentum at the bottom of the hill, and just crest that hill with a little bit of momentum, you can kind of keep rolling through the course, and it saves your legs a little bit throughout the 4.5 mile loop. So this right here is the last real climb. You're gonna have one more little climb before you go to a good straightaway and then to transition. This is thrilling watching, but kind of give you a good feel of what the course looks like, and actually turned out halfway decent for a GoPro mounted to aero bars on a tri bike. It's not horrible. Thought about mounting it with my helmet, but I didn't know how that would work. But at least it gives you a good view of my shifting, and when I'm shifting, when I'm downshifting, when I'm upshifting, that type of thing. Like I said, I stayed on the bars most of the time, so you guys can see the video. Here in the straightaway, I do get in aero positions, so you can see that going on. So this one, you keep the momentum going a little bit. This little turn, you kind of crest this little bitty hill. Then you're off and running. This right here, aero position, aerodynamic as possible. This is not the spot that I would stop and stand up and take a drink or anything like that, because unfortunately you can't see as well because I am in the aero position, but this is the spot to really get in the aero, get speed, and take advantage of just a fast portion of the course. Because pretty much every year this is going to be a fast portion because you are going kind of a downhill. There's this little spot here, and as you can see, it's just a nice downhill to transition. checking my speed a few times to see. Usually I'm like 25, 30 miles an hour or something like that. And that's without a tailwind or anything. It's a very nice section of the course. They have repaved it, so it's smooth as butter. You just fly through without a problem. It's nice and wide open. I know riveting television, riveting YouTube videos, but it does give you a feel for how the course is going to go. So notice you're just in this little back area here. There is one more little climb before you get to transition. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of 5, 6, and then 7 little climbs. What I call 1, 2, 3 major, and then 4 kind of minor little climbs. So as you can see, I'm in the aero position for a extended period of time. It's a good spot to have a nice little recovery, especially when you're coming back in transition, when you're done doing your loops, whatever distance you're doing. It's a nice opportunity to kind of get a respite of not having to climb hills. So this is your last little climb, this last little bump you can see. You're getting ready to crest this hill and come back to transition. So if you're doing another loop, you'll stay to the right. And you're coming down here, but once you get past this little road down at the bottom, there'll be cones that if you're going to back to transition, you'll go off to the left and you'll start slowing down to go back to transition. If you're staying on the course to do more loops, you're going to stay on the right. So about this point, you start seeing the cones, you go off to the left if you're in transition, or if you're going to ride another loop, you stay on the right. And there you go, back into transition. So there you have it. Now you have all the information you need to know about the Shawnee Mission Triathlon and Duathlon bike course. That is one full loop. It took us about 20 minutes. I'm going to go over that. But like I said, it takes 16, 17, 18 minutes, depending on how much you're trying to crush or anything, to make one of those loops, 4.5 mile loops. So if you're planning your training trip out there, just keep that in mind, time-wise. It's a little bit of a challenge. So get one loop in, see how it feels, and that kind of gives you a good setup to do the rest of the loops and kind of make a good plan of how to attack the course for the race day. So as you can see, most of that course has been repaved. Like I said, it's great. 4 or 5 years ago, unfortunately the roads weren't as in great condition. They've been slowly repaving all the roads as years gone by, and now they finally got to a point where every section of that road is repaved. They've added shoulders to the damn hill area, so if you're out there training, you can ride on that shoulder and not have to worry about cars or traffic or anything necessarily. But it is a beautiful course right now, so definitely get out there, take advantage of it. This is the year to be racing it before the roads start, deteriorating like they all do throughout time. But get out there, take advantage of it. Do watch out for traffic if you're out there training before race day. The course is closed. There'll be no cars, no traffic, no nothing, except a beautiful race day. So again, if you got any questions, put them in the comments. Either Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching this video, I'll happily get back to you if I've got any answers to any of your questions. And hopefully this helps you out. We'll see you out there on race day.